Hello, welcome back to BLENDERSUSHI Live Noding. This episode is inspired by this video by Dean Zeller. It's one of his videos is called Algorithmic Art. He actually explained the creation of this kind of art that's he created using basically I think he used Excel. So the idea is to have like a this kind of shapes, like it's like a circle, or yeah, you can call it like a star kind of shapes. And then he said that in order to create this art, he basically start with a certain point, and then he say, okay, maybe you skip 2 points or 3 points, and then you connect the dots between the 2 points, and then you go to the next one, skipping every 3 or every 2, and then so on and so on. And by the end of the algorithm, which is like the recipe, you get this kind of design, which is kind of interesting. You know, it's I think the concept is really simple, but you end up with some variation of the star. And I guess this video is definitely worth looking into, and we're gonna do the similar thing in Blender and using Sverchok. So I tried it, made a quick one, and I end up with something like this. Let me see. Okay, so yeah, this is one of them. So at each step, kind of like skipping 2 or 3 points, and then you kind of keep going, and then until you get this kind of design. So yeah, sometimes you get like a surprise as well. Basically, it's pretty simple, but we can start from scratch. Delete everything, delete this, and we don't need that. Connect the dot algorithm. So we can start with something like a circle. Maybe if a circle is more like a star, you get a different kind of result, but we'll take a look. So have a star, and then how many points of the circle is totally up to you, but we can start from, I don't know, just make it like 60 points or even lower than that. The idea is, of course, you pick a starting point, and then you kind of connect the dots. Maybe we want to skip like 3 points, and then you want to connect the next one, skipping every 3 points. If I draw it using grease pencil, it's gonna look like something like that. So 1, 2, 3, and then so on and so on until you create this another star, but it's different shape. Okay, how are we going to do that? First of all, we have to understand that these points of the circle is created in order. So if I turn on this vertices index number, we can see the first points is actually this guy right here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on until this one is number 29, but the total is 30 points. Because of this, we can have less or we can have more. So that's definitely something that we can change easily anytime. So based on that knowledge, we can simply just use list item, right? With list item, if I plug the data, the points data of the circle into list item, and then have a look, we can kind of pick any points as we wish, until you can pick from between item 0 and then until the last one, but it will stop at the last one. So the idea here is to have like kind of like unlimited number of loop, which is our circle. So we want to be able to rotate within the points and make like a jump depending on the numbers we specify. So we need some kind of pattern, and for that pattern we can use range integer. With range integer we can specify with range or with a count. If you look at the data using the stethoscope node, if we are using range integer, let's say start at 0 and step 1, stop at 10, we can have this kind of pattern, just like a number in sequence. But with the count, we can specify starting points and then the step. Let's say we want to skip every 2 points, just skip it. With this one, you can see we can have like this kind of pattern. That's exactly what we need. So we can simply just plug that into list item input, and then so we can practically get what we want. So if we want to skip the points, we can simply do that. There's one problem where if we don't have enough points, the thing's just gonna stop. So that's not what we want. So we want to be able to repeat it. And for that, we need to have list repeater. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna use UV connection so it's a bit more clear what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna use U directions and edges. So here we can see. So that's the original points. And if we start at item number 0, and then we select start from this guy, and then we want to skip 2 points and then connect it with the third point, we simply generate a pattern that does exactly that. Okay, so we can continue on. So apparently, okay, that's actually number 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, continue on until we realize, okay, we realize that things just stop there because we don't have enough data with the circle. We actually need to kind of repeat it. So with our vertices here, we want to repeat it. You will see that this is actually repeating the circle multiple times. If you look at the index, we're gonna see that we have like kind of overlapping. I believe we might actually need to join it. Let's join. Now this is correct. See, originally we only have 1 and it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. And then we repeat it. Now the circle goes 2 times and then 3 times, 4 times and so on. Because we have now more points, everything is in order, and then we can simply do this connect the dots thing. I'll show you what I mean. So if we continue with our thingy, providing the correct data, now we can have that pattern happening. So, and it's gonna keep going and going until it reaches the first points. Okay, so that's basically the idea. This is the algorithm. Okay, the algorithm. This is a simple example of recipe or algorithm, like a set of procedures, a set of kind of step-by-step, not rules, but kind of a step-by-step things that you list every step and then kind of repeat the steps until you get into certain points and then stop. That's one type of algorithm, even though it's a simple one, but still kind of interesting to understand this idea. We can perhaps have a bigger step, so now we get a different kind of design. With a bigger step, maybe you need more points. You see, these points should be kind of not unlimited, but just enough so that the points can connect from the start until it's finished. So like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, until it goes back to the beginning, and then you have a full star, and then it's the procedure or the algorithm says, okay, you're done, and you stop the functions. If you're using like a Python, maybe this is kind of more straightforward, but this is kind of nice. I think it's a really nice way to understand algorithm. So let me summarize it again. So the circle provides the original points, right? But the procedure says pick a starting point, and then from that point you pick another points, the skipping 2 or skipping 3 or skip whatever number you like, and then connect the 2 points, and then so you have that edges, and then just keep doing that until you go back to the origin. This is exactly what we have. And the nice thing is, once you have this set up, you can make all kind of adjustment with this. Perhaps you're doing like something a little bit weird, like let's say maybe you can randomize the input vertices. Maybe with this guy here, just randomize it in the X and the Y, and you started to have an interesting design, and sometimes you end up with a surprise, but maybe not too random, but just a little bit if you want it, if you want to do that, of course. Otherwise it's pretty much done. So that's if you want to randomize it. You can also use vector noise, whatever. Let's try, actually not in the radius vertices, have more points, and then here change the stepping. Okay, not too small, otherwise not looking very nice. So that's kind of nice. You can, okay, keep doing that. Now you have this kind of star, much more intricate. Sometimes you get that. Okay, you can bake it. So another different pattern. If this is actually, okay, that's kind of stopping. That means you don't have enough points. We need to increase the number here. Okay, that's a complete one. Bake it. We have a complete, this, I don't know what to call this pattern, but it's quite nice. Nice design. Although it's really simple, it's a nice study. I can try using noise, etc. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This is the like a quick touch on the algorithm. It's very basic, but if you're first learning Sverchok and node-based procedural way, and then you kind of learning pattern, this is one of, I guess, a good example that needs to be shown and needs to be tried. Try making something like this, and then you will definitely learn something in the progress. It doesn't need to be circle. Maybe the point itself can be like a continuous point, but basically you make some kind of algorithm that's kind of skipping points, and this kind of can be interesting and something useful in the future. Okay, thanks again for tuning in to this video. Any suggestion, any feedbacks, let me know down below, and then I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.